What about you, Legs?
They just released Heaven's Lost Property. I play Icarus. And Tale of Memories, I play Kay. And High School of the Dead, I play Arisu. And what else am I missing? Wait, there's one more. Angel Beats, I play Yuri. Yeah, I'm in One Piece. I play Apis in One Piece. Yeah, all kinds of fun stuff. Yay!
I thought I heard Tale of Memories. I was just like, why are you a punk? Stupid Canadian brain. Oh, geez. Not a ton of anime right now. I mean, screw the NDA. We're doing DBZ Kai in Canada again, so.
What are you doing in Kai?
Same thing I did in the first one.
Oh, okay.
I think.
Have you started yet?
Yeah.
Cool.
We're up to, so I'm being Jace again, but Piccolo, Jace, Tabura, Karoni, Majin Buu, Old Kai, South Kai, Dr. Brief, all those. I'm going, after a decade of working on that show, it's back. Except without these 6-episode fights. Well, just finished off a show called League of Super Evil. Johnny Test we're coming back for season 6 on that. What else? I've got a bunch of stuff. I've got a few cannot discuss. I've got a big project. Kaboom! And a repair too for the dismount from
Sorry,
the
my
Russian
big microphone
judge.
fell.
I
Hit the
just
floor.
did a couple of live action films. I did one called Arctic Air. I just did another one called Tasmanian Devils, where I die in a most grisly and disgusting fashion. I'm flying back actually early because I've got this big. I hate that. It's like I can't talk about that. So that's what we're doing. Hi, what are you doing?
Hola, ¿cómo estás? No tengo queso caliente en mis pantalones.
I caught hot and pants.
Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténgase alejado de las puertas.
The yellow zone is for loading and unloading only. Or my part of the world, we get the whole thing en français. Welcome to Bienvenue à El Canada. And the service is crappy in both languages.
Any more questions? Here we go.
What was your most favorite anime that you guys have worked on over the years?
What was the most favorite thing we've ever worked on?
Anime.
Anime?
The first or the weirdest?
I think it's a favorite.
Your most favorite.
Oh,
I'd have to say Krillin on Dragon Ball Z, because I've been doing that the longest. And then maybe like Hughes on Full Metal Alchemist. Ooh, okay, I should have said that first. Yeah, forget it. Krillin sucks. I loved him. Hughes was my favorite character of all time. And then maybe Toonami Tom. Yeah.
I like them all. I don't know. I don't like to pick between them. It's like picking between your dog and your cat, you know? But because like every time that you do shows, you have your favorites out of the shows that you do. So usually you're doing like 5 or 6, or you know, he's probably doing 10 or 20 at a time. But you always have like your favorites, you know, out of those. So like every year I have a new favorite. But I have a lot of the equal ones are like I love Himeko from Bonnie Pony Dash, and IU from Canon, and Black Star. I love Black Star. So I like them all though. I think I gotta catch them all.
it's like your own children, each and every one of them. You give your love and your soul and your heart, and you just hope they do well in life.
Did Vic come in?
And they don't talk to strangers. Favorites? You never know, because you go into the studio and you record stuff. You never know if it's gonna, like, I had never gone to a con, I had never, and I came to my first con right when Gundam Wing was first out. And, you know, people kind of went, what? And I went, oh, that's cool. I should probably figure out what I did in that show. Gundam was fun. Inuyasha is fun because it's fun. It was really cool working on Alchemist because that was kind of a special thing. Because Mike asked me, it's like, is there any way we could get you to come down and do this? And I would love to. just because I went, it's a really cool show, and it was an honor for me to be asked to do, so we did. I don't know. Wah, 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 wah. Ladies and gentlemen, for your viewing pleasure, number 47, Bradley Sawyer! Brad and I had fun working on X-Men together. Didn't we, Elf? Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Z was obviously a great show to work on because it was employment for a decade. And again now, Beast Wars was a fun show to work. I got to do so many weird things that I really like. I was Hermie the Elf and Yukon Cornelius in the sequel to Rudolph. That to me was like, yes. Independent.
Brad, our current question is, what is your most favorite anime that you've worked on?
Oh, that's a tough question. I like them all equally. Well, my very first anime show was a show called Ranma 1/2. Anybody seen Ranma?
Aloha, everybody!
That was pretty cool. I played Moose on that. The whole Gundam thing was pretty cool. Gundam Wing is the reason that I got invited to my first convention. So Katra from Gundam Wing kind of has a soft spot in my heart. Also playing Amuro in the original Mobile Suit Gundam, very cool. Death Note's okay. Yeah. And Dragon Ball Z, see, I like them all, man. I'm such an anime whore. I like them all.
I don't think you ever get many voice actors that go like, oh God, I gotta go slave away in front of a hot microphone. Do this stupid job. Should never have given up my job on the deep fryer at Mickey D's.
And you put a lot of yourself into these things too, so it is kind of hard to pick and choose because that's part of you up there, you know?
Are there any roles that you really did not enjoy doing?
All of them.
If we said that, then it would be someone's favorite show. So that's like I don't think any voice actor would actually truly answer that question. We're all like, no, we love all of them.
I will totally answer that question.
Over to you, Sonny.
I don't even know the name of the character. I think it was in an episode of Beck, maybe? No, it wasn't Beck. It was something worse. But I played a guy who was purchasing soiled panties from a soiled panty store. First of all, I didn't know that existed. And then he gets gang raped in an alley. So the sad thing was it really didn't bother me.
Her face.
And I was like, there's nothing I won't do. There is no line I won't cross. So yeah, but that was my least favorite, I would say. Squealing like a pig.
Sometimes they hurt. I played Cobra Commander briefly on G.I. Joe after Chris Latta had passed away, and that's probably the only thing I've ever done in my life that actually hurt. Because that's stratospheric in pitch and weirdness.
Speaking of Cobra,
But it was still really cool to do.
That's a great segue for me. Thanks, Scotty. Cobra Commander. Okay, I've worked on a lot of Gundam series, and one of them was called Gundam Seed Destiny, and I played Diorca. But they also threw another character at me. His name's Owl, and it was basically me doing my poor man's Cobra Commander. Is kind of where I put Owl at. Now, as much as I did love the character, one thing that miffed me about that character is I have died a million times in the Gundam world as like Pilot 39B and stuff, right? Ugh! You know, you never see him, he just gets blown up, whatever. So, spoiler, but I don't care. Owl dies. Which is really sad. I learned that at a convention, actually. Somebody go, yeah, so what do you think about dying? I'm like, oh, we haven't got there yet, man. Oh, I'm so sad. But I was excited because he was like kind of one of the main characters, like a secondary character or whatever. But I knew that he's gonna have this awesome Gundam death scene. So I'm like, sweet, okay, at least, I'll die as somebody that has a name on this show, not just, 39B. And so we get to his epic death scene. I'm all ready for the traditional Gundam, no, or ah, or arg, or whatever. And this was my giant death scene. Here we go, I gotta stand for this, ready? Owl, dying. That was it. Thank you. He gets impaled in his Gundam and then sinks to the bottom of the ocean, so I didn't even get to scream. It was just a...
One of the characters that hurts my voice is Usopp. Because, I mean, the way I do Krillin, is in this area, right? But Usopp has that hitch in his voice, and he screams every line for some reason, so after 3 hours of that, I can't talk for the next day.
See, that's why I say that though, because like the one part that destroyed my voice the most was Black Star, but he's also one of my favorites. But no, really, I like went down a pitch after recording that. Like I would literally taste blood and not be able like to talk for 3 days afterwards. Because when you scream like that in a voice that obviously I don't speak like, hey, yeah, and you're doing that for hours, it's gone. It turns into air. It's
Scott and I
like
were talking
just
about
air.
that last night. It's like we don't have our tenor voices anymore.
My days as a boy soprano are long gone. I'll just keep doing that until somebody asks a question.
Very attractive.
Okay, that's a good segue into my question. Weird lines. Was there any line that you said that was just really weird to you, or that you did as kind of a joke that made it in? I distinctly remember one Sonny did as Maze, where he said, and I quote, "Hey, Edmund boy, is it true you brought a pretty blonde girl into your room to service you?"
Could I give a quick weird thing about dubbing? And this is, I don't know if this is universal. Tell me this. In my experience, if you're in there and you screw up something, which God forbid, occasionally, so you're like, I will make you this promise. I will be idiot. It will always fit the flaps perfectly.
Yeah, it's too bad they can't use them for the outtakes, because they do match up really well.
Yeah, and then they kind of sound funny because you're like, man, it's yeah.
Yeah, you'd be surprised how many of your anime favorites cuss like sailors.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's why you got to get those outtakes.
Yeah.
They're pretty fun. You can't get outtakes for me. Like at first when I started doing it, anytime that I messed up, I would actually like go just like step out of the booth and be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I messed up." Like, no, stay in there. We want outtakes. Like, so I started saying sorry so much that they were like, "I'm getting really sick of hearing you say sorry. So just like start cussing me out instead." So now every time I mess up, I'm like, "You." I just start talking crap to them instead of saying sorry. But along the lines of your question, so rephrase say your question again, just so that I know I'm. Okay, when I did Black Star, I messed up one time, and I don't remember who it was, but somebody puts her hand on his face, like her arm on his face, and like I was like laughing, and I made this weird sound that sounded like and it was just an accident, and it fit perfectly, and it worked really well, and that was fun. But as for like weird lines, there's so many lines that you say that mean something else but sound really gross. Like I did a line in Gilgamesh, and this is a PG show. It's it's not. I think it's PG, but it's not risque. Sounds risque, but it does dynamis, which they transfer magical power with their heads, right? But she kind of becomes a dynamis junkie. So she's like kind of like cracked out a little bit and like always asking for it, And one of the things that happens when they do it the first time is that their nose bleeds when they touch foreheads because the power's so strong. So she's telling someone else, but I was like, I cannot say that line. I just can't. And the line was, "When Usamu did it to me, I bled a little, but after that, it was fine." But it's not a gross line, but it just so sometimes you get those where you're like, "Oh, gross," like, "Ew, that's what she said." Yeah.
I need a moment.
Yeah, that kind of turned me on. Is that wrong?
I saw somebody earlier show me a pillow that had a character that you played and that Kara played.
That pillow had pillows.
And now that I've met both of you, I'm gonna hit the dealer's room later. I'm gonna try and find it. I shouldn't have told you that. That's just creepy. What was it? We were answering questions too. I go on tangents. Weird lines. Well, there was one line that from Death Note that at the time I didn't think too much of, until we finished the series and I started coming to conventions and people are asking me to say it over and over and over again, and now it is very, very strange. When, a lot of people that do voice work have these cool lines that they get asked to say over and over again, and mine is, "I'll take a potato chip and eat it." Wow. That's my cool line. Yeah, go figure. And then we got people throwing potato chips at me too. Are you trying to make me fat? Come on.
Probably the strangest thing, it was actually in the script, was Maze Hughes screaming, "Don't fall on Daddy!" That was the weirdest thing I'd ever said in anything, and it has implications as well. Except that's what I tell my
I
wife.
don't even know if I can
but I say,
say
"Please
it.
fall on Daddy." It's my birthday.
Okay, you know what? I'm going to say it anyway. This is something I did years ago. Nobody's ever seen it because unfortunately the guy that was producing it died before it got released. But it was a PSA animated thing, and it was called Bloodstream Follies, and it was about this happy little crew of pirate HIV viruses that went from person to person in the ways that they went from person to person, and the various contacts and conduits and pathways. So the late great Long John Baldry was playing our ship's captain. And for some reason this has always stuck. Because, I'd been doing, My Little Ponies and Care Bears. Baldry's magnificent voice rings out. It's like, vaginal secretions? How on earth did we end up in the vagina? I was scarred for life.
Can you tell us about your daughter?
Sunny.
She's so cute.
My daughter, yeah. I was kind of typecast as Hughes. As a matter of fact, when Colleen Cleakenbeard had the auditions that day, one of the lines that we had to say was, "Sorry, but I have a wife and daughter to go home to." And she said, "Hey, we're going to go out for drinks after the auditions. You want to go?" And I said, "Sorry, but I have a wife and daughter to go home to." And she said, "That's why I cast you, because I realized you were Hughes." Yeah, probably the only time I was typecast that way. But my daughter's 18 years old. She's in cosmetology school. Thank God, because that costs a lot less than college. And she's loving it and having a great time with that. She'll be done in a couple of months and probably making more money than I ever made. So that's my daughter, Savannah. She's cool. She's a pain in the ass.
Next
don't do it.
question.
This is for Brad and Scott. Yes. What drew you guys to X-Men Evolution?
What drew us to it?
To do the
The
voices.
paycheck. Well, I mean, like any other project that sort of comes through town, it was like, work! Hello! Want to get some of that? It was a little different because it had cachet before it ever started.
It's flippin' X-Men.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, I will never forget getting that call, and like everybody auditioned. You're auditioning against 200-300 people, and it's going, oh, come on, and auditioning for all of the characters is I like to do anyway. And I will never, getting that phone call and going, yeah, you booked what's his name? Look it up, Wolverine. Sweet. Because people are like, dude, you're freaking Wolverine, man. I'm like, I know, and I haven't even started yet. How cool am I? Then I found out he was Canadian. I've said this bit earlier.
Frickin' pound you.
Exactly. Wolverine is Canadian. And he's always like, hey, bub, don't make me get all Canadian on your ass. If he's really from northern Alberta, this is how Wolverine would sound. Frickin' Ryan Coke, man. Give me one right now. I'll frickin' pound you, man. Come on, let's fucking go, man. You wanna go? Fucking right now, man. I'm telling you. Schnitt, eh? Frickin' hockey pound you right now, man. Fucking gloves off, jerseys in. Ladies and gentlemen, the real Wolverine. Frickin' pound you.
That would have been sweet.
I'm gonna suck up again because Brad was actually really, honestly, my favorite character on that show. So
sweet. Yeah, I played Nightcrawler. Pretty cool. When you find out you're getting that audition, you go in there and you do your best to kill it. And when you get that call, yeah, you booked something. Please. Yeah, it's X-Men. Nightcrawler. Woohoo!
because Brad originally read for Kitty.
Of course, I would have made a fabulous Kitty.
And you rocked it.
Yeah.
Yes, Kitty, come over here and sit on my lap, Kitty.
Is there any particular role that you're jealous about somebody else getting and that you think you could do better?
Yeah, I wanted to play the Canadian Wolverine, and it's already been taken. Yeah. No, I'm not jealous of anyone who's got parts. I'm always very happy with what I got.
I kind of very much feel that the person that's best for the part gets the part most of the time, because they are auditioning against everybody else. But no, I don't usually feel that way, because then other people can feel that way about me. But yeah, no, because everybody's my friends in the industry. I'm happy for them when they get a part. I don't like want them to fall on their face so I can get a part. I would rather everybody get parts. So
It's true.
We all live in a big giant house together, and it's got a view of the lake, and you can see the fairies dancing.
It's true. There's work that I really admire, that I love. I mean, my all-time favorite character out of cartoons, maybe not all-time, but my current favorite or modern favorite is, it's all part of our plan to take over the world. Maurice LaMarche. I love the man. I love the character. My house is full of, toys and animation stuff. 98% of which is me, but then I've got a huge collection of Pinky and the Brain shit. So. Hey, cat's brain. Brain.
Yeah, I think usually when you feel a bit jealous from characters that you weren't able to voice, it's usually productions that were voiced somewhere else or at another time. Like being on Ren and Stimpy, it originally when it was good would have been cool. I'd still love to be on South Park. There's a lot of shows that we'd love to work on. I mean, Popeye, sweet. See, there's so many. It just keeps going. The very first anime that I ever saw was a movie called Akira, or Akira, if you prefer. Yeah, hooray for Akira, right? It was huge, and I think that they redubbed it at one point, and that would have been a cool project to work on, but I'm in Vancouver. That was done in LA, because I think Johnny Bosch was on that and whatnot. But that would have been sweet.
Rumor has it they're doing a live-action Akira.
I'm so scared. Oh, is it going to be the Twilight cast? Great.
Is there anything that you auditioned for and got and had to turn down that you wish that you had done?
I'm sorry, turn down work? What? Maybe it's a Canadian. I don't understand what you're saying.
His brain has imploded.
Did I mention that I played a character who bought soiled panties at the soiled panty store? There's not much we'll turn down.
half my characters are like borderline hentai, so there's nothing I turn down. A lot of people change their names for that too, and I'm like, I don't care. Whatever. They're like, hey, nobody will do this show. It's too risque. Call Brittany. She'll do it, and it's true. I will. It doesn't matter.
I have seen people turn down stuff because their religious views got in the way of it. But other than that, most people will take any part they get. Yeah.
My ex used to refer to us as polyphonic prostitutes. Because other people go, dude, how come you do those Barbie movies? Because Barbie's got money. And if she wants to give some to me, well, I'll take it, even if I have to drive around in a pink Corvette.
One of my characters says, I will surpass God all the time. I mean, I feel like I'm going to get struck by lightning saying that all the time, but I still did it.
Vaginal secretion.
Any other questions for the voice acting whores?
Do you guys support yourself solely on your voice acting revenue?
Excellent question. Some people are lucky enough to be full-time actors. Others are extremely lucky enough to be full-time voice actors. When you sound like this, unfortunately, you can't get that lucky. I'm actually a professional graphic designer, illustrator. Yes, I like to draw.
Maker of little tiny Scott McNeil plushies.
Yeah, that's right. That's more of a hobby, not a profession. Oh, that's such a good way to go. So yeah, basically when I left high school, I had to make a decision what I was going to go to college for, and I was torn between going for acting and going for art, and I had never really taken any formal art training. I always got kind of caught up in the music end of things in high school. I took band instead of art, that type of stuff, right? So I was just afraid that if I went to school for acting, there was no guarantees that I could get a job and pay rent and all that kind of stuff. So I went the art route because I've drawn my entire life, And I went kind of the commercial route with the graphic design and whatnot because I knew I could get a job, and that's kind of what I do. I have essentially a full-time job that I'm not officially an employee of the company. I'm on an extended contract, but I've been with them for like 10 years. So it's really tricky as an actor in general to find another source of income that'll actually pay bills and keep food on the table that's flexible enough to let you duck out for auditions and studio sessions. And I gotta take, 3 days off work just to come here, right? So you really have to, take what you can get, and yeah, it is what it is. You work hard.
I'm going to be a stinker and say yes, because I can, and I've been so lucky. And I had decided acting. I'd studied full-time theatrical training. I'd gone and studied my Shakespeare, my Molière, my Ibsen. So I was going to tread the balls and bring culture to the world. And then I was unemployed for quite a while. And stumbled into voice work. I have really, really, really touched wood heavily, been lucky, and it has paid for. I've been doing it for.
Touched wood?
Sometimes you gotta touch
whatever
it
it takes to
to
get the job.
in this town. So, I've been at it 25 years in front of the microphone now, man and boy, and I'm stupidly lucky to say that it has, and it's bought my house and my shine. My neighbors all think I'm a drug dealer. It's true, because they're like, okay, so he looks really weird. He has a lot of nice stuff. He keeps really weird hours. And I hear things coming from his house. Bad things. I don't know how many people he's got in there, but I swear to God he's up to something. And it's like, oh, I'm not a drug dealer, it's worse. I'm a children's entertainer. Having said that, though, every time you sign a contract, you're unemployed. And it's scary that way. Because, bubble can burst. The industry is diminishing rapidly, like in all regards. Anime is... I do a lot of prelay work. I also do radio commercials. I do narration. I do on camera. As an actor, I think as a performer, rather, which is kind of like what I like to think of myself as. You have to be viable if you really want to make a living at it, be able to do anything. And all of those other things that you bring into it also make any single thing that you're doing better. Like, people think voice actors stand there with their hands in their pockets and act. It ain't that way, my friend. It ain't. But yeah, there's no retirement plan and there's no guarantees of anything. Well, there is a retirement plan for us, but who wants to retire and go do a real job? Screw that. We do indoor work without any heavy lifting. But you never know. You always have to keep working at it too, and it is a job, and it is something you have to work at. I'm competing for a part. I'm competing against not only 200-300 other people who are really good and really talented, and a lot of whom I've trained. I'm competing against myself because I can't keep doing the same thing to be viable. So, when you're not working, you're working. And hopefully it all pays off.
And that's when you move into the big house where you can see the river and the pixies and the fairies.
Never been so serious on a panel in my life. Take this thing away from me.
I pretty much pay for everything with voice acting or directing or writing. It sort of all blends together. And like Brad, I'm also an artist, and I went to college to be a theater professor, and that went awry. And I've had 20 books published in comics, so it all kind of blurs together for me.
I am a full-time actress, but not a full-time voice actress. The most money that I make is off of commercials. Most of the time, like an Ace Hardware commercial, or like a bank commercial, or something like that. And come to Citibank, that kind of stuff. Yeah. So that's actually where I make most of my money, not but that's the thing, is that a lot of people don't realize that when people ask actors, how do you become a voice actor? It's like, we have to compete for our parts too. Like, we don't always have a job. Every time, like he said, you sign a contract, you are unemployed. And there are periods of time where they don't have any work, and there is no work. And you can't get a full-time job if you have to go 3 or 4 days out of every couple weeks, drive up to Dallas and drive back. You can't have a regular job. No job is going to let you do that. No job's going to be like, oh, sure, you can take the day off for an audition. But, a regular job isn't going to pay as much money per audition as, so, and in Houston, I pay for my auditions to send them in. So sometimes I'm paying for auditions and I don't get the show, and that's more often than not. I'd say that I audition like just every like month, probably 200 times, and that's for voice acting and regular acting. And I audition all the time, and I probably book 5 jobs. So like out of every 200, I book like 5. Like, it is constant work. It's a lot of hotels. It's a lot of airports. It's not as glamorous as a lot of people make it out to be. And I love my job, but it's very rare you find people like Sky that can just do that, because you'd have to really be in quite a few shows all the time.
That is a really good point.
No other life skills, so.
You hear what she said, though? That she is auditioning all the time, and a lot of people, like, they get their first audition, they're like so excited, and they think they're going to get a part, and then they feel so bad because they didn't get a part. And it's like, no, that's one audition. I mean, we've been doing this for years, and we don't always get cast. Yeah, and something Eric Vale said at a convention that he said that what it takes to be a voice actor. How many people on this panel started out to be voice actors, and no one on that panel raised their hands. How many on this panel did you guys start out wanting to be a voice actor?
Yet.
No, yeah, but we started out wanting to be actors. And he said, learn the craft of acting, because you don't know what the life is going to give you. And if you don't love the craft of acting, you just want to be a voice actor, you probably won't make it anyway. Yeah. Yeah, it really takes a love for acting.
The word in voice acting is acting.
Hell yeah!
That's right.
I meet a lot of people that can do a lot of voices, and I always say to them, it's like, can you act?